Hello,
Hi, this is Push to
Skippy.
Shout podcast.
Guess what?
What?
We're live. Did you know?
I did. I gathered that from you saying hello, even though we've been talking for the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow, how about that?
this is the Push to Shout podcast.
Yes, it is.
Episode 53,
Yes.
and I guess we're gonna talk about some video games or something. That's what we usually do here.
Yes, it's late again.
Very
Thanks
late.
to me being a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you might have noticed that that Mike's voice is a little bit different.
Yeah. I swallowed pills badly. I was bad at it. And it fucked me up. But I'm okay.
Anyway,
Breaking news.
how about those video games? Have you been playing any?
0. Well, okay. Smash. I have something to talk about with Smash because I actually watched something too for it. But I decided I was gonna learn Fox, and Fox is the most difficult character to play. It's the most technical, requires the most inputs. He's just very hard. But I cracked down. I tried to learn him, and I'm making some headway, so that's fun. But the big Smash thing of my week was watching a tournament. I wouldn't really call it a tournament. Summit. It's called Smash Summit, and Summit really is the best way to describe it. They invited like 16 top players. Some of them were like high-profile community, and others were the best players in the world. And they live in a house for 4 days. And they do not just playing the game, but they play actual games like Mafia was a favorite. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you're familiar with
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it's the not really a drinking game, but a game best played while
You
drinking.
could
I'd
make
say.
it a drinking game.
Yeah, you could, but they were all drinking during it, and it was really cool. The players who were there all say that it's like their favorite tournament that they've ever been to, and these are people who've been going to tournaments for ages. The atmosphere was just really nice. It wasn't the serious esports commentary, but it wasn't like we're just fucking around either. It was very cool, and it had not just a straight tournament either. There was a system where one person could challenge somebody else, and you could redirect the challenge. It was like this really, I don't know, like this playground environment. It was cool, and I'd watch it again. It's so. I recommend going back and watching them play Mafia because that's really funny. Maybe not you, but if you're familiar with these players, you've got like some of them are just really don't give a shit, and others are super analytical about it, and they're trying to like meta logic the Mafia game, and it's like, well, that's exactly something that I would say if I was Mafia, but you have to consider that I could be giving you bad advice, and they got like all they use the terminology of the game too to describe the Mafia game. So they say like they talk in terms of reads, hard reads, or it was cool to watch. So yeah, go back, check that out if you're interested.
Or a nerd.
Jesus.
What's this about Fox?
No, I already said it. I love Fox.
Oh.
Not Fox News.
That's what I figured it was.
No.
Like all capitalized and stuff. Well,
Oh my god.
I also
What a
don't
screech.
I don't have any video games to talk about. I do have. Over the weekend, I watched a couple movies,
Oh yeah?
and they were Jurassic Park and Inside Out.
Is Jurassic World or Park? Because you wrote World. Okay.
World. I'll never not be able to say Jurassic Park when I mean world.
Yeah.
What'd
you think?
It was alright. Jurassic World was alright. It was an okay sequel to Jurassic Park. Like it didn't at all live up to Jurassic Park's standards, which would be incredibly hard to live up to. It tried. I don't know. Like it was its own thing. I think it successfully did its own thing rather than just completely trying to emulate what Jurassic Park was. You know. Like, Jurassic Park excelled at the moments where they were hiding from the dinosaurs and the dinosaurs were trying to find them and stuff. Like, that tense kind of atmosphere. Jurassic World's a little bit more action-packed, and they reference that in the movie itself, and I think we've talked about that back when it, like, first came out, how, like, they the whole concept of the movie is that they've militarized dinosaurs, and they've bred their own breed of dinosaurs because it's hard to sell dinosaurs to the modern public, and that people are tired of them, and that they need more teeth is the quote they use. And I thought it was kind of funny how it was like referencing itself in that way, but it was also kind of weird because that's a way to go about talking about or like referencing your own work. I don't know.
Well,
but that makes it interesting.
Yeah, when I remember watching it, I was basically in the same boat. I was entertained, but I was surprised by. I wouldn't say it was restrained overall, but they exercised some restraint in the winks and nods to the audience.
Yeah.
When it did it, it felt like it worked.
It felt appropriate.
Yeah, it was a good reboot. It wasn't like a totally cynical sequel or anything. They expanded the idea. They made it a little funnier. They know that people. The quote from the director, when the studio tried to make them use the same characters from the previous movies, they said it would stop being a movie about dinosaurs and just be a movie about the unluckiest people in the world.
And at first I was annoyed because they used all the character cliches, like the older teenager is always looking at his cell phone and isn't interested in anything around him, is always looking at the girls, and there's like the CEO guy who's learning to fly a helicopter, and you've got all these just total cliche, two-dimensional kind of characters. But I also think that that's intentional because it's that kind of movie where people are going to start dying, and I think it was okay that it was shallow in that way. Like if they had tried to go the other directions of like trying to create these deep character arcs and stuff, then it probably would have fallen flat on its face. And instead, it's kind of by stepping back and saying, "Oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge," they get away with kind of being not so interesting. But
and you know what? I did kind of like the CEO guy. I liked that he wasn't the villain, that he was actually sympathetic. You know, not feelsy. I'm all gonna cry,
like,
but
he's responsible for this scientist dude that has apparently like gone off the rails and created these monsters and stuff. But like, that's like he's the one responsible for that. But he sits there and points his finger at him and says, what have you done? You're fired." And it's like, but you're the one who hired him and like approved this stuff. So,
but what I liked about him is that he wasn't like totally irresponsible. He had some perspective and knew.
And like, you know, he gets in the helicopter and he's like, "I'm gonna go fight the dinosaur," and like
that was dumb.
You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was dumb. I liked that because like
it wasn't.
It very intentional.
I didn't dislike it. It was dumb. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're in agreement. It was dumb in a good way. Yeah, I did have fun watching that movie, but followed by Inside Out. I stopped watching that movie and then instantly put on Inside Out, and Inside Out is incredible. It's really, really, really good. Did you see it?
I did over the summer.
Oh my god,
that was a good movie.
I was expecting it to be good. I mean, it's a Pixar movie. I've heard good things about it.
Well, lately, I don't know if you can really expect that.
Yeah, I mean, the Pixar's had they were looking like they were going in a bad direction for a while there, and they still kind of look like they're going in that direction. But this movie in particular works 100%.
Well, yeah, awesome. It's the director of Up, which was probably the last great Pixar movie. I mean, there were some quality ones, maybe. I'm not actually sure on that, so I don't really remember what Pixar.
Toy Story 3 was after Up, right?
I don't know, but when I say great, I really mean great. I'm not saying good.
And Toy Story 3 was a sequel and it relied on nostalgia and all that.
But Up was a legitimately great movie, and Inside Out might be too. I don't know. I didn't like it as much as Up, but it was very good.
I liked it more than Up.
Really?
Yeah, I liked Up a lot, but I feel like Inside Out, there's something about the way that it's written so well in how like the emotions are playing off of each other and stuff.
That is true.
I loved that, and I never got tired of like they go to the memory the guys are like vacuuming up the old memories that they don't think are important anymore and stuff, and just like all that stuff was it's been done before. The whole like representing your body or your emotions or whatever in actual people doing jobs, but like there's something about the way that Pixar pulled it off that makes it totally fresh, and I enjoyed it a ton. I thought it was a better. I guess I don't know. I struggle to think of like what was better about it than Up. I don't know, but I liked it more. I think.
I'll grant this. I really only saw Up one time when it came out, and I was like 13 or so. So maybe I just am older now, and they don't have the same appeal. But I'll rewatch that maybe. Up.
Well,
I mean,
Up's worth rewatching. That's for
Yeah.
sure. It is a great movie.
I mean, and it's more than just that intro sequence that everybody loves because it's so sad. Which I thought they did a better job with that stuff in Inside Out. There was a subtlety in Inside Out
Yeah.
that Up was still subtle in some ways,
For being basically just a time lapse montage, that was an incredible scene.
Yes.
And it was really effective. Up develops a character, and then I'll spoil it a little bit. It develops, you know what's going to happen. It develops a character and then kills that character off in a super emotional way that you saw coming, but it's still like it's 100% like just. It hits everyone on a personal level too. I think that's the thing about Inside Out that I don't think Up quite has, is that Inside Out is about everyone. You know, It's about everyone who has been through a childhood and had to move on from things and figure things out, and that's I think that might be what I like about it more than Up, because Up isn't about everyone. Up is everyone can relate to it, but it's not quite as ubiquitous.
yeah, I mean, it's not ubiquitous to everyone at present, but you can kind of figure as someone ages, it becomes a
Sure.
universal experience. But either way, they're both very good movies. I'll call them both great. Why not?
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
They are
Pixar's
really
good at making movies. They've had a couple of rough spots.
Cars 2, baby, with
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Overall, though, I love Pixar. I really do, and I've liked a lot of their stuff that other people haven't. Like WALL-E, I thought was fantastic, and a lot of people.
I love WALL-E.
A lot of people don't like it very much, but I think it was actually one of their better movies. Anyway, moving on. Last week, I did a fun little event. I'm just gonna gloss over this real quick. Just something I've done. For this first time ever, I did an actual casino gambling thing where I had chips and I was at a table with a dealer and stuff. I've never done that before. I've never like actually gambled with a dealer.
Yeah.
It was not real gambling. It was a charity gambling event. Did you turn your gain up or something?
No.
I had background noise. Now it's gone away. I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Anyway, it was a charity thing for ulcerative colitis and Crohn's, which, for those who don't know, I had ulcerative colitis and I had a surgery for it, so now I no longer have it. Yeah, we were at this charity event and it was a lot of fun. We had two different kinds of dealers, and the first one wasn't taking it seriously at all, and she'd like look at the next card and like cheat for you and stuff, you know. And that was kind of fun, just like to have as a first dealer where you're kind of trying to get into the mode. And then we moved to a poker table where she was taking it like 100% seriously, as if you were playing with actual money. And I enjoyed that a ton, because it was like yelling out like all the things that were happening, you know, all the terms and stuff that half of them I don't even know, but like it felt real, and it was a lot of fun. And now I actually want to go to an actual casino, and I've never actually wanted to do that before. I mean, I enjoy like playing poker and blackjack with my friends and stuff, but I never thought that I would enjoy it. It's more serious atmosphere, but I did. I'm totally into it.
My dad has a craps table. Craps is his favorite game because, well, for one, it's the one with the thinnest margin for the house. So he likes that. And it's just fun. So he taught us how to play, my brother and I, but he pretended to be like a Vegas dealer. So he was like super strict with hands off now. It was fun to try to pretend that way.
I think it's fun to take stuff like take it seriously. If you're gonna do it, take it seriously. A lot of people get turned off by that. Like they're like, oh, you're taking it too seriously and you're sucking the fun out of it. But I think if you could still have fun and be serious, and that's like that Arma group that I was doing for a while that was the idea, was that like we're gonna play this military simulator. We want to actually simulate the military, and we can still have fun and joke around, but like don't ruin it by not acting like how you would act in an actual situation like that. And if everyone's together in that, then it's fun. If you have just one person who's not into it, then it ruins it for everyone. Which
I'd imagine that's kind of how we've been approaching Smash. The people who've been playing it on our Mumble, we decided to, and people might not care about it at all, but we decided that okay, Nick and I specifically, Walker, he's in a couple of my videos. We decided, okay, we are gonna learn this, and we're gonna do it all technically right, and like really get into it. And it's just more fun that way, even though that's counterintuitive. That when you take it seriously and aren't just fucking around, then when cool things do happen, it's even funnier. Like you raise the fun ceiling in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like playing CS:GO. I play CS:GO pretty competitively on a regular basis, and we have fun with it. We joke around, but it's still just a game that you distracted me.
What, me stripping?
I was blown away by your body. Anyway,
of course.
We joke around, we have fun with it, but we take it. The reason that we can have fun with it is that we take it seriously enough. That's a fun game. Like the people who go in with an attitude of just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna play it like Counter-Strike or whatever, or like Call of Duty. They probably don't end up playing it for very long because that's not the way the game is fun. The game is only fun if you're actually like trying to win, and it can be frustrating and stuff. But it can also be that's the only way to really fully experience the fun of the game. But anyway, moving on.
Just while we're getting weak stuff out of the way, I had a show. So we opened for BJ Novak. That wasn't like an actual show. We just did 2 sketches at that. This week was our actual show where we do 2 nights, 10 sketches each night. They're the same sketches. We didn't write 20, but it went well. It went real well. And speaking of me stripping, you missed me in drag.
Oh dear!
So, yeah, that was fun.
I was come on the podcast like that.
Yeah, I played this chick named Tori. Trailblazing Tori was the name of the sketch. I didn't write it, but my lines were just left open for me to say whatever shit. And it's just the most disgusting woman that you've ever like. I'm in like a crop top that's like a women's small, and it's just stretched out over like the top 5% of my torso, and I'm wearing this skirt, and I've got just very thin underpants underneath, so I like spread my crotch for the audience to see, and like I got lipstick on my teeth, and I have this condition where instead, because I can't fart on stage on command, right? That would be difficult.
Yeah.
So I go
and risky.
I go with my mouth, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then I explain like, yeah, it might look like I'm just making fart noises with my mouth, but I've got this condition that forces gas up from my colon into my mouth, to my windpipe. I got a dingleberry in that last one. It's stuck in my teeth, and I pull this little thing out of my tooth, and it was a fun one. People were like legitimately disgusted and laughing. It went well.
Good sophomore humor. I watched the first episode of. I've seen several episodes and I love it. Yeah, Nathan for You. Have you seen that?
No.
I was with my sister and brother-in-law, and we were killing time and on that first episode because it's free on like.
You went silent for a second. It's free on where?
Amazon Instant, I think.
Okay.
And we put on the first episode, and it's about him going to a. So the concept of the show is that this comedian acts like he is making a television show, trying to help people, reboot their business, and that's failing, a very common, popular concept in reality TV now. But obviously he doesn't take it very seriously, and he just messes with people. It's a classic like people aren't sure whether it's a joke or not kind of thing. And
is it like the LEG show in that way?
Yeah. Maybe not quite as like I get the impression that a lot of the people that he's fucking with are aware that they're being fucked with, but it's still very funny. Anyway,
executive
but
executive producers Tim and Eric. All right,
I
I'm
didn't
in.
know that.
I'm
I
in.
didn't know that. Yeah, no, it is very good. You would like it a lot. I guarantee it. But my sister and brother-in-law did not like it very much. They thought it was too immature because the first episode is him going to a yogurt shop and that they're struggling, and he wants to come up with a PR plan to get the word out about the yogurt shop. So he says that they should make a new flavor, a poo flavor, and he finds an actual like company that makes flavors, and he commissions them to make poo, and they do it, and he makes a poo a poo frozen yogurt treat, and he goes around the streets telling people to come try it, and he's interviewing people, and he does a blind taste test with a focus group, and so they get it and they taste it, and they're like, at first they're like, well, I can taste like it. They say, well, it doesn't taste good. I can taste like licorice or peppermint or something like that. And he says, yeah, but like if you had to guess what flavor it was, what would you guess? And they were just like, it tastes like poo. And he sits there and he just nods. And so yeah, he gets people to come to the shop and try the poo flavor, and then he interviews them, and they're like, yep, it tastes like poo. And then at the end of the episode, he tells the guy, he's interviewing the guy who owns the shop, and he says, I think I finally found, the problem here. It's actually probably a really bad idea to try to get the word out for your shop by having a poo flavor, because when people see poo or taste poo, it kind of makes them disgusted, and you don't want them to associate that with the shop. And the guy was like, well, yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you the whole time, but you didn't listen. And he's like, well, I'm glad I could help. that's and that's like how they all end. It's just like,
That's good.
just really abruptly like that.
I need to watch this.
It is very good. I've been meaning to catch up with the whole thing. I've seen probably like 6 or 7 episodes, and there are some that are just hysterically good. Like, I love it when he brings in he brings in the focus group a lot, and like there's one where he puts the focus group in the back of a moving truck, so that they can follow him around as he goes like door to door and interviews people or something like that, and they're like listening in so that they can like give live advice to him over an earpiece or something like that. And they're all in the back of the truck, and the truck is like careening around corners and shit, and so they get like slammed against the walls. it's good. Anyway, last bit of weekly business for me is that I got into a Twitter argument, and I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, I read
Thought
it.
it was funny.
It was very funny.
This guy wrote an article about Undertale, critiquing Undertale or whatever, and at the beginning of the article, and I've seen this before, this isn't the first place I saw it, at the beginning of the article he has like an edit note that says, previously this article used the word genocide to describe that route of Undertale, but I'm going to refer to it as No Mercy because it's come to my attention that the creator doesn't like the term genocide to describe it. And he quotes a tweet that someone tweeted at him that said, the creator doesn't like genocide. It was made by a Let's Player who made a Holocaust joke in their video.
Which is complete bullshit.
It's all just made up. Because if you do your research, it doesn't take very long to do your research and find out that none of this is true. There is a Let's Player who does a genocide route and names his character Hitler, which I suppose is the genesis of what they're saying. But yeah, Toby Fox has never made any statement about it, and he responds to people calling it genocide route and doesn't correct them or anything like that. So I made a kind little tip replying to the tweet, and I said, hey, I don't think there's any evidence of Toby Fox ever saying this. I can't find anything that indicates this. The guy responds and says, well, if I can avoid making Holocaust jokes in my article,
Making
I will.
light of the Holocaust.
Yes. And I said
Of
yeah,
atrocities, I think was the word he used.
and I think I responded like, yeah, but you in your article it says that that's the creator's intent, is that he doesn't like the term, but that's wrong, and so you should probably change that. And the guy said something stupid, or he didn't respond to that, and then I poked him with something mean. I don't know. I was mean to him, and I got blocked. That's my Twitter drama of the week.
You know, it's
But anyway, I just
even then, the game doesn't make light of it.
Well, see, that's actually why I brought it up, because I think it's such an ironic. It's an ironic thing because the whole thing that makes probably the best thing about Undertale is the fact that the genocide run exists and what it accomplishes, because it makes you feel bad for killing video game characters. It's not. The genocide route isn't a joke, and that's what's so striking about it, is that everything else about the Undertale is so lighthearted and jokey, and then you go the genocide route, and it's pretty fucking serious.
There's only a couple lighthearted
couple of
moments,
jokes, but they're
and
dark.
the rest of it is grim.
Yeah, and so it's doing the opposite of making light of it. If anything, it's one of the more effective video games at criticizing that aspect of games, of how you just kill everyone with no repercussion and without feeling bad. So it's really ironic that they're trying to kind of control how people use the term genocide to relate. And also, you are actually committing genocide when you do that run of the game. So the term is 100% accurate, regardless of your feelings of the term genocide. I don't know.
You're specifically killing a race of monsters.
It just drives me crazy, because these are the type of people that, like, they're the main people trying to say, like, video games are art, and he does this critique where he's calling Undertale art, and then they're also the first people to speak up and try to police how you talk about it, which is so anti-art.
I pulled up the actual wording again so that you can get mad about it again. If I had the option to refer to a way of playing a game without making light of systematic murder, I will. Thanks.
And like, that was responding to me when I was in my, being nice mode, pretty much. I wasn't being, like, inflammatory at that point. But he probably looked at my profile and saw that I compared Zoe Quinn to Scarlett Johansson, and probably realized that that I was one of them. And he later refers to me as being a part of a crowd when the person, the other person when someone else goes through my profile and finds where I joked about how Idiocracy. I was the first one on Twitter to notice that Idiocracy seems a lot like how modern life is. Like, if you've ever seen the film Idiocracy, turns out that modern times are a lot like Idiocracy, and it's crazy. I was clearly being sarcastic, and they took it seriously. Anyway, fuck it, let's stop talking about Twitter. News.
Yeah. Life is Strange Season 2, finally!
Oh.
Confirmed today, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest game of the year will be getting a sequel. Life is Strange Season 2 coming at you. Look out for that.
Did that even, like, at all set up for a Season 2?
No.
Like,
okay.
End?
Spoilers. I can actually do this now. Life is Strange spoilers. So, Life is Strange ended where you choose between saving Chloe and killing the entire town, or letting the town live and letting Chloe die. So no, there's absolutely no room for a sequel at all, and it's just getting made because it was popular.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it was popular.
I guess relatively popular for their budget and... jeez, fuck that.
I mean, it seems like it was kind of popular. I guess lack of competition, really.
Yeah, it's got a surprisingly dedicated fan base. They make lots of art, and it's all...
Well, people relate to
There's
the
a fandom.
young character that says, we're gonna get seriously trolled. What did she say?
Gonna get hella trolled, crunked, or hella kecked. It's just all that stuff. Is it?
All that shit.
Whatever.
All right, well, good stuff. The big news of this week, well, two big news things.
Actually,
There's big
three.
news last
I didn't
week,
write
big
it
news
down.
this week, because we're basically covering 2 weeks.
There's a third big news that
Let's
I'll
go with
say
the third
afterwards.
one. Okay, never mind.
Oh, okay,
We'll
we
go
can
with the
start
first
with
one.
it. So, Mega 64, they made a Patreon. Finally.
I guess you could call that big news.
No, it is, because they aren't like a small operation. They have a studio, they have full-time employees. But they've basically been subsisting on ads and merchandise for years, and they've been doing really well with it. But they finally decided they wanted to expand, and the only way to do that reliably without having to make more of those commission videos or those kind of ads is to start a Patreon. So they did that, and they did that 2 days ago. They've already got like $5,500 a month in Patreon money. So yeah, it's a big deal. I really like Mega 64, and I'm glad to see that it was a huge success.
I like them a lot. I don't like Patreon. I still just there's
On
just
principle,
something-
I don't know. They even, that was the first thing they acknowledged in the Patreon, that didn't you guys make fun of Patreon before? And it's true, but they gave a pretty good explanation of it that kind of turned me around on it.
I'll have to look at that. But I personally I know several people who use Patreon and who I'm buds with. But I personally I just can't imagine. It's literally a donation cup, you know, and I just feel like when you reach a certain level of professionalism, you need to treat yourself that way. Like I try not to judge people, but it's just like you're staying as a street artist when you really should be, you know, a studio. Like
Well, that's what they are. That's the thing. They are a studio. They have one.
that's my point. Is that like they're too in my view, if I were them, I'd be going like, well, we're too big to be, you know, literally begging people for money. And begging is a strong word because they're not making a huge deal out of it, I don't think, and they're not like, I don't think they're the kind of people that are going to be like, well, donate to our Patreon after every video.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's no rewards at all. All it is donations, and they're very upfront about that. I found the paragraph. It's very short. They say, haven't you guys made fun of crowdfunding? Yeah, we've made fun of crowdfunding. People asking for too little to make their first AAA game, or too much for a first-class flight to Seattle. But we don't believe that's the case here. We're not funding construction of a space shuttle or anything else we don't know about. It's just making the current Mega 64 bigger and more ambitious. So, I'm totally fine with that. The very clear objective is just to scale up slightly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just still haven't really figured it out in my head of like what exactly my feelings are, because like
the
there's
well's
just
been
something-
poisoned because the early adopters were the bad eggs.
Yeah, you've got people like Greg Miller and stuff who are
And
just
Jim Sterling, that crowd.
yeah.
I get it.
And the whole idea of like I feel like there's going to be an inevitable collapse in the whole model that I don't feel like it's sustainable. And so as a whole, I'm kind of wary of it because I feel like I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like something's going to happen. Like it can't sustain itself. That it's going to got too many people asking for money, and it's everyone and their brother is going to have a Patreon, and it's like,
You know, that is true.
it's weird.
But I would say there's no reason the structure collapses after certain users fail. I mean, so people like Mega 64, they get their money from interest in them anyway. So it's not like, I mean, if people do lose interest in them and stop paying them on Patreon, it's the same thing as people not buying their merchandise or DVDs anymore. So at least with them, I don't think that this marks a significant departure from their current business model. All it is more money. And something like Jim Sterling, I could see not working out. Like, he doesn't strike me as somebody who knows how to run a business. That's the thing. Mega 64 predates YouTube. They've never relied on YouTube as a service. They put their stuff wherever it would go, on public access TV, on IGN and game trailers. So they have a business that's independent of any one service. So I think they specifically are durable enough to survive even a Patreon bubble burst. But I still don't think there's anything structural about Patreon that would make the whole thing collapse. It's just a donation service.
I know what you mean. God, the whole culture of it is just so bizarre to me. Why are people paying Mega 64 and not getting anything in return. I mean, I know you're watching their videos, and so you could feel like, well, I'm giving you money so that I can see your videos, but you can see the videos regardless of that. And you watch an ad, assumedly, you watch an ad to watch the video, or you buy the merch and you get a physical thing for what you're paying for. But people have given $55,000 to them, and they're not expecting anything in return. And they're expecting Mega64 to become a bigger thing, but they're personally not gaining. It's just bizarre to me. The whole culture, and that goes for all of crowdfunding, really. But like,
they do have one
especially
reward.
Patreon.
They have one reward. You get a one-time mystery prize if you donate $10. But it's not like a recurring access to behind-the-scenes content. So yeah, you're right. There really isn't any incentive here besides making them grow. But I think that's more interesting. That the people who are donating do it because they want to contribute money and make it grow. They're not expecting any behind-the-scenes content, or if you donate $25, you get to have an email conversation with me. Like, come on.
And one thing that I'll give it credit for is, I give Patreon credit for in general, is that like you're not getting the illusion of being a part of like a part of the production, or the illusion of having the guarantee of a finished product or anything like that. Like, Kickstarter has a special kind of ickiness, I think, because I feel like a significant amount of the people who donate to a Kickstarter see it more as an investment than a donation, and we've talked about that before. But it's just weird. The whole culture of donations online is getting out of hand, in my opinion. But maybe I'm just an old man yelling at a cloud.
You know what? I just can't agree. I prefer it to ads, really. There's so many misaligned incentives to make more shorter videos that are worse in quality and lower effort, because ads get paid on minutes watched. So this is, I think, a great solution, even though some of the earliest adopters of it are just not good people.
I will say that Mega64, out of every other Patreon that I've ever seen, except maybe Dyslexy, who runs Shack Tag, they might have the best justification for it, because they're as much a community as content creators. Like, they have built a community that has a forum and all that stuff. Like, there's that community atmosphere means that people might feel obligated to support it, by giving it money, and that I understand. That I can understand. But it's the I'm already making YouTube videos, but give me money. That just, I'm not saying it's like ethically wrong or anything. It's just there's something about it that rubs me the wrong way. And I haven't figured it out yet, and maybe I'll change my mind as it becomes more prevalent. But as of now, it's just totally bizarre to me.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That there's times where it feels like it's just, I want more money, and what could you possibly do with it other than, give more money? But when they lay out concrete goals, like, we'll get a new studio, that obviously has rent that will be higher, buying equipment, making more videos more frequently, those are concrete goals that you can justify the money. But somebody like Jim Sterling, who is still just filming himself in a dictator costume in front of a replica Nazi flag or whatever he does, I don't know. That's Jim Sterling, right? Can we confirm that Jim Sterling is a Nazi on the show? People like that, it's like, what are you possibly doing with the money?
I think a lot of my fear of it also is more of a larger fear about content creation as a job. Like, Mega64 doesn't have this problem. They're very well established. They have a lot of experience now. If Rocco decides that Mega64 isn't going to be a thing anymore, he could get work, because he's got production experience. A lot of these YouTubers and stuff, like someone like me, if I were to decide to start making money off of what I do and turn it into a job, if it doesn't work out, what the fuck am I going to do? Or like, even if it does work out, when it comes time to retire and stuff, like, it's just like, it's not a sustainable life plan. And I'm legitimately, it's like paying athletes $55 million and then they spend it all and become totally, their families are neglected because they don't know how to spend their money. It's kind of a similar thing of like, yikes, these people might be setting themselves up for disaster. And
Yeah, I can
and
see
people,
that.
don't get me
It's
wrong, people can do whatever they want. I'm just saying, it makes me feel weird about the whole thing.
that's a similar problem as what's been on YouTube. I mean, the YouTube bubble bursting has always been a fear for semi-popular, or not semi. If you could separate the A-list and B-list, PewDiePie and Tobuscus and those people, I'd call them the A-listers. And the B-listers are your Total Biscuits and Boogie 2988s, who
Yeah.
are not, like, part of the upper echelon, or they are upper echelon, but they're not part of the inner circle. YouTube doesn't call them before they make decisions. Those people are at risk, really, if some major change to the YouTube ad model takes place. So, yeah, it's always been a fear for those people, whether or when they almost assume that it will happen when the YouTube well dries up. What they'll do, Mega 64 will continue to survive whether YouTube dies or not.
Yeah, they're fine. And maybe, and you know what, maybe the whole thing will just kind of move along at a steady rate, and it won't blow up or whatever, deflate. But it is a very weird and completely new economy, you know, that I don't think anyone really understands, and it's really hard to predict. So.
I just want to see a competitor to Patreon. That's what makes me more uncomfortable than anything about this, is that nobody besides Patreon has a service exactly like this and is clean. I'm sure there's another service that can
I've seen
do it,
other
but
crowdfunding services, but they're always very small, and like they're more like personally working with whoever's doing the crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Like you start your own website that has a crowdfund thing on it, and maybe you're going through another company and stuff like that. But nothing nearly as large as Patreon. And I mean I think that kind of goes for you've got Kickstarter and GoFundMe and Indiegogo, or is GoFundMe and Indiegogo the same thing?
I don't know. Indiegogo is the one that I hear about more than GoFundMe.
Yeah, but those, I feel like those at least compete with each other enough to sustain an actual economy going. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird stuff.
Crowdfunding.
Weird stuff. Maybe we should start a crowdfund and ask people for money for what we do.
Jesus.
Anyway, now that I've joked about it, we can never do it because Zoe Quinn's making a movie.
Yeah, is that how confirmed is this? The last I heard about it is all rumor.
25% confirmed. It's like there's definitely discussions, but it's more likely than not, I think, that it won't happen. I just thought it was funny. It's just funny, and it might be starring Scarlett Johansson, which would be hilarious.
That would be one of the funniest things of all time. To get to see Scarlett Johansson pretend to be Zoe Quinn.
It would be
because it's gonna be bad. I mean,
it would have to be. And it would just be like it would be it would be like factually incorrect and horribly like biased and misleading. But the best part is that you get all these people who have no idea what the fuck Zoe Quinn and Gamergate and all that stuff is. They're all gonna be like involved. Like Scarlett Johansson doesn't know what the fuck that is. And they're gonna be doing this thing, and that thought is hilarious to me, and I want it to happen.
yeah, like, so it might have the same effect as that, that movie God's Not Dead.
Oh,
it was like this, produced by this Christian rock band, and it's really funny. Just imagine, like, imagine the amazing atheist's worst nightmare of like a student. I don't know. It's so funny. My favorite scene in it is
maybe
this.
I have heard of it.
This basically that copy pasta where the scheming the scheming atheist professor yeah it's basically that the movie.
Parodies of that are the best things.
It is that, but a feature length, like high production value movie. And the favorite part of that is toward the end, the kid says, "Why do you hate God? That's not even a question. Why do you hate God? You better stop that. Why do you hate God? Because he took everything from me. Yes, I hate God." How can you hate someone who doesn't exist? and that's the
That
movie.
sounds incredible.
And it features a song called "God's Not Dead, He's Surely Alive," and it's like this contemporary Christian revival movie. It's really funny. It's a really funny movie, and I want to see a Gamergate version of that.
Yeah, that would be. It would be a lot of entertainment for about a week. It would be really fun to be on the internet.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, the Warcraft the movie trailer came out.
10 years
It-
too late. This
Uh,
people would have loved, or I guess people are excited about it, but if there was peak interest for a movie like this, it's not now.
Nope.
In fact, World of Warcraft recently decided to not release their subscriber numbers anymore
Yep. I also read about that. Yeah.
because they're declining.
Yeah, and I mean, considering how far they've gotten, it's really not like a.
Oh yeah,
Pressing for them or
it's not
anything.
like they've failed or anything.
And even if their subscriber numbers are declining, they're still in the millions,
Yes.
which is more than most MMOs by far.
They defined a genre. They have other games that make a lot of money, which is
And
important.
They will make a sort of sequel. It will happen.
Oh, yeah.
They'll make another MMO.
And it'll be a big deal. It'll be
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, but super polished, and everyone will play it.
Yep. Even I might play that. But yeah, I watched the trailer and it does not look good. A lot of people are excited for it though. So, luck to them.
I haven't even seen the trailer. I'm not interested.
You should see it just out of curiosity because it's weird to see them try to bring these very cartoony style characters to life. You know, try to
Yeah.
make them realistic. It looks weird. The orcs look more realistic than the humans in a weird way. Like, you know, you enter that uncanny valley where the animation.
Is it
and
like? I guess it's all CG, of course.
I don't know if the humans are 100% CG. I'm sure they're based on actors' faces or something, but they look CG because they're surrounded by CG.
Yeah.
And it looks odd and bad, and
It's
it also looks
this-
extremely high budget.
The screenshots I've seen kind of remind me of that what's that movie? Beowulf. That bad Beowulf movie.
Yeah. It has that same kind of feel of like, well, I can tell it's all fake. It looks good in that, like, it's amazing that they've done what they've done, but it looks bad in that it doesn't actually look real.
Yeah.
And then the plot, I don't know what the fuck the plot is because I'm not the lore really, but basically, like, it looks like it's going to be like the bad guys and the good guys have to team up against a common evil, and it's there's gonna be a big battle, and they're trying to like emulate like Lord of the Rings and stuff, and just it doesn't look good.
I think the movie should just be 2 hours of a naked guy begging for gold.
That'd be good, like an art film. A dancing night elf begging for gold. All right, last news thing. Fallout 4 comes out tonight. It's already out in Europe.
Yeah.
I have it pre-ordered against my will. Someone bought it for me, so I own that game legally.
So do I. I
And
bought it
so, all right.
I made
And,
sure to read about it first to make sure it was all kosher. I was gonna buy it unless it was, plagued with technical difficulties and
Yeah, I
things
mean
like
it'll be as playable as the Bethesda games before it, which might not be saying a whole lot, but
that. I mean, if it's at least as polished as Skyrim, then I'm fine.
polished is an interesting choice of words.
Well,
No, I know what you mean. I
I
the more
know
I see
the
that
level of
game,
polish
the
to
more
expect.
Negative I feel about it. It looks like visually it looks really bad. Gameplay wise, it looks like Fallout 3, which I didn't entirely enjoy. So
If I had to just guesstimate, it's going to be better than Fallout 3, not as good as New Vegas. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
I guess I'll probably stream it tonight. We'll see. I need to go to bed though, so I don't know. But yeah, at least they let you preload it. That's cool.
Yeah.
But there's a weird thing going on where, like, so it's out in Europe right now. According to Twitch, you can't stream it until midnight Eastern U.S. time, I think. which means that like people who own the game aren't allowed to stream it unless they're verified by Bethesda. But then people are doing it anyway, and it doesn't seem like they're being punished. And they really need to stop with this embargo shit. Kotaku ran a story because Kotaku doesn't get the early copies of Bethesda games. Apparently, Kotaku ran a story about how there's an embargo. There was an embargo for the embargo date. So
there's a good reason for embargoes.
I get the reason for embargoes. It's the way they're handled that's the problem. Especially like when it gets out of hand like this. Because like, so you've got Kotaku ran this story. You've got an embargo for the date that you can announce the embargo.
Oh, that's
like,
silly.
That's
yeah.
absurd. And then the actual embargo is after it comes out in a lot of regions, and well after a lot of people get it early because of leaks and all that
that
stuff.
is silly.
And it doesn't make any sense. It ends up in a lot of people being unfairly punished, and a lot of people being unfairly not punished, and just it needs to stop. God, what was the last game it happened with? That was like there was some game that came out where it was like 6 hours after it was out in the U.S. the embargo lifted. Which
was it that Shadows of Mordor game?
Might have been that. It might have been.
I thought there was some. No, that was like review codes or something. Oh, Unity, wasn't it?
Yeah. Unity sounds right. Yeah. Which, of course, there was a heavy embargo on that game. But yeah, you can never really hide that your game is bad or good. But like, that's the thing about Fallout, though, is that like the only thing they can really be protecting is plot details, because they have such a dedicated, like, they know they're going to sell copies. Like, it's not, even if the game was bad, it would still be successful. Especially the amount of money that I suspect they spent on those games, which isn't fun. Although maybe they're just wildly inefficient. I don't know. But yeah, that stuff needs to be sorted out because it's out of hand.
Yeah, it's very dumb. But for, like you said, for games that they know people are gonna buy without even checking a review, they don't care.
That's part of the problem. They don't care, but then they set an embargo anyway, and it creates a lot of unfairness when people are getting banned from Twitch and stuff, and other people aren't, and bad shit. And a lot of people just stream, they don't know that there's an embargo. Like, they're just some dude who got the copy early.
I wonder how they're policing that.
I don't know. Twitch moderators, probably.
Yeah, but are they going through
volunteers?
Yeah, they must have like they must have like a task force that gets put together whenever there's like a high profile new release like this with an embargo, and they like just cycle through hundreds of streams at the same time on lots of monitors and see.
I doubt it's that organized.
Well, they can't. They have to do something.
I think it's people in their basement at home in their underwear looking at streams, and if it's against the rules, then they ban it.
Yeah, but they have to have some way to look at several at once, because you don't have the option to put Fallout 4, I don't think, because it's not officially supported yet. So, but
still, like you just search Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 in the Twitter search bar and follow the links that all the people say that they're streaming. You know, there's easy ways to do it.
If you're streaming to no audience, then they might not find it.
That which is weird anyway.
Yes.
They're streaming Bob Ross.
It's also
every week now. So
I found out more Smash that nobody cares about, but Project M is a mod for Brawl that Twitch is really afraid of, because Nintendo hasn't officially acknowledged that it exists in any capacity because of their general stance toward modification, and so Twitch doesn't want anything to do with it. On the streams, like when they're commentating, they call it Voldemort. It's like the game that must not be named.
Yeah.
It's funny when some of the top players just don't give a shit and start talking about it anyway, and they like panic. But so Hitbox is the only one who takes Project M, because Hitbox doesn't care about that sort of thing. Twitch, though, exactly.
Hitbox isn't big enough for big companies to care.
Right.
And Twitch is under pressure, and I still think that Twitch might have enough clout to say like, nah, fuck you, Bethesda. If people get the copy of the game legally, it's out in their country, they should be able to stream it.
I don't know about that.
You would think it's Twitch, it's Amazon.
Yeah, but
what's the worst that can happen? Like, what is Bethesda hanging over their head? I don't.
I think what it might be bigger than that. Like, it might be bigger than just Twitch's relationship with Bethesda. It's clearly a business relationship. These companies, I assume, get some of the revenue from streaming their games, from the ads. That must be the case, because
Probably,
the companies
to keep
do
them
support
happy.
it. Yes. So the whole existence of Twitch depends on the companies permitting it. Like, Twitch doesn't have an official
Maybe.
option for games that they don't have the right to stream.
But can
So-
you imagine the shitstorm if Bethesda said you can't? We
can.
don't have a relationship with,
I can.
with Twitch anymore.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, if Twitch tries to put down its foot and say, no, fuck you, we're going to do it anyway,
Yeah.
like, then that hurts Twitch's relationship with all publishers. Because a publisher might not be so keen on Twitch anymore after that, and it would just degrade the fiber that Twitch has been building between these publishers
Yeah, I
and
mean,
itself.
you might. Yeah, in really big terms of just like intangible business connections and stuff. Maybe I still feel like though if Twitch just sets a precedent of like, no, if you make unreasonable embargo demands that we literally just don't have the capability to actually police, then no, we just not we're not going to support that because it's unreasonable. I don't know. I feel like they're caving for no reason, or no reason that I can see. But
It could be illegal. It clearly is a legal thing too. It's probably
Yeah.
illegal to stream it.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that gets into
And
some
Twitch has to.
legal areas.
Well, yeah, but there's something called safe harbor that if you're in a site like YouTube or Twitch or something, and someone uploads copyrighted material to your service, then you're safe so long as you're diligent about removing it when you become
Yeah.
aware of it. So, so
But-
long as Twitch is pruning the streams as it finds them, then it's safe. But if it decides to be really blatant about ignoring it, then it might legally not be safe, and it
I
might
don't
be
know,
more.
but I don't
than-
know if an embargo is a legal thing. Embargoes are pretty much just company to company relationships. You can break an embargo if you want legally. You just aren't going to get future copies of their games, or you're going to break your relationship, whatever. You know, I don't think there's any legal precedent.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Square Enix sent me that cease and desist for streaming the unreleased Life is Strange,
Yeah,
which who knows if it would have gone through or
Yeah.
whatever. But the point is, there seems to be some unauthorized copy.
The reason
They
that
seem
they-
to have some copyright ownership of.
didn't they send you
Stream
that
material.
under the impression that you had gotten it illegally?
No,
Because it
it
wasn't
wasn't just that. So they weren't gonna do that for pirating it. I'm pretty sure it was. Well, I don't know. Who can say?
There's a lot of there's a lot of extenuating circumstances around that. I'm talking about someone who who lives in the UK and goes to Game and buys the game and streams it. I don't feel like there's any legal thing there. That's just them streaming a game that they got. Go into fair use and all that, but that's a much broader question.
Yeah, I'm less optimistic. I think there might be some legal difficulty there, or at least it's a gray enough area that Twitch definitely doesn't want to go there.
Well,
That
one of
seems
the
clear to
many,
me.
One of the many lawyers that listens to our podcast should email us or whatever. I know you're out there, all you legal experts of the thousands of people that listen to this. Anyway, I think that's it. That's all we've got for this week. Maybe tune in to my Twitch tonight. I might stream Fallout 4, but no guarantees. Also, who the hell is going to choose me over the million other people streaming Fallout 4? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I might set up a competition stream.
do dual streams.
Yeah,
Cross
just
the
because I
streams.
got nothing better to do.
Yeah, I've got to watch wrestling tonight.
Oh yeah, you got to.
Seth Rollins got injured. He's the championship holder, and he's like tore an ACL or something. He's going to be out for like 6 months. So it's actually like a really big deal.
Okay.
Well, I want to see how they deal with that.
Yes.
All right. Good night, everyone. Hope you enjoyed our rambling podcast.
Yes, adios.